When I run the docker ps command, I can see that there is a running container which uses the Ubuntu image and sleeps for 100 seconds. Let's say I would like to see the contents of a file inside this particular container. I could use the docker exec command to execute a command on my Docker container. In this case, to print the contents of the etc hosts file. Finally, let's look at one more option before we head over to the practice exercises. I'm now going to run a Docker image I developed for a simple web application. The repository name is codecloud/simple web app. It runs a simple web server that listens on port 8080. When you run a docker run command like this, it runs in the foreground or in an attached mode, meaning you will be attached to the console or the standard out of the Docker container, and you will see the output of the web service on your screen. You won't be able to do anything else on this console other than view the output until this Docker container stops. It won't respond to your inputs. Press the Ctrl+C combination to stop the container, and the application hosted on the container exits, and you get back to your prompt. Another option is to run the Docker container in the detached mode by providing the -D option. This will run the Docker container in the background mode, and you will be back to your prompt immediately. The container will continue to run in the backend. Run the docker ps command to view the running container. Now, if you would like to attach back to the running container later, run the docker attach command and specify the name or ID of the Docker container. Now remember, if you're specifying the ID of a container in any Docker command, you can simply provide the first few characters alone, just so it is different from the other container IDs on the host. In this case, I specify A043D. Now, don't worry about accessing the UI of the web server for now. We will look more into that in the upcoming lectures. For now, let's just understand the basic commands. We'll now get our hands dirty with the Docker CLI, so let's take a look at how to access the practice lab environments next. Let me now walk you through the hands-on lab practice environment. The links to access the labs associated with this course are available at CodeCloud at codecloud.com/p/docker-labs. This link is also given in the description of this video. Once you're on this page, use the links given there to access the labs associated to your lecture. Each lecture has its own lab, so remember to choose the right lab for your lecture. The labs open up right in your browser. I would recommend to use Google Chrome while working with the labs. The interface consists of two parts, a terminal on the left and a quiz portal on the right. The quiz portal on the right gives you challenges to solve. Follow the quiz and try and answer the questions asked and complete the tasks given to you. Each scenario consists of anywhere from 10 to 20 questions that needs to be answered within 30 minutes to an hour. At the top, you have the question numbers. Below that is the remaining time for your lab. Below that is the question. If you're not able to solve the challenge, look for hints in the hints section. You may skip a question by hitting the skip button in the top right corner. But remember that you will not be able to go back to a previous question once you have skipped. If the quiz portal gets stuck for some reason, click on the quiz portal tab at the top to open the quiz portal in a separate window. The terminal gives you access to a real system running Docker. You can run any Docker command here and run your own containers or applications. You would typically be running commands to solve the task assigned in the quiz portal. You may play around and experiment with this environment, but make sure you do that after you've gone through the quiz, so that your work does not interfere with the tasks provided by the quiz. So let me walk you through a few questions. There are two types of questions. Each lab scenario starts with a set of exploratory multiple choice questions where you're asked to explore and find information in the given environment and select the right answer. This is to get you familiarized with the setup. You're then asked to perform tasks like run a container, stop them, delete them, build your own image, etc. Here, the first question asks us to find the version of Docker server engine running on the host. Run the docker version command in the terminal and identify the right version. Then select the appropriate option from the given choices. Another example is the fourth question, where it asks you to run a container using the Redis image. If you're not sure of the command, click on Hints and it will show you a hint. We now run a Redis container using the docker run Redis command. Wait for the container to run. Once done, click on Check to check your work. You have now successfully completed the task.